Welcome back to our 2022-23 school year. Hope you all enjoy your summer. I'm going to call the meeting to order right now. Scott, do you have the agenda online to show?
I can do that. Hold on one.
Okay, so we're called the meeting to order. Now let's do our flag salute. Please stand and join me in the flag salute. Ready, begin.
I pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
justice
with
and
liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to item C, do we have any public comments?
We have no public comments at this time.
Okay, so we will move on to next on the agenda. Can you actually put it back up again, Scott? I'm so sorry. Okay, I hope everybody had a chance to review the agenda. And if there's no revision, I'd like to motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. All in favor? Okay, and then moving on to item E, approval of the meeting minutes. Did everyone review that? Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, looks like everyone ayes there. Okay, so now
Let's check with the vice mayor, actually. Vice Mayor Montano, we want to record your vote. You're on mute, so.
I said aye. Thank you.
Okay.
thank you. Okay, motion passes. Now we're moving on to F, discussion items. Number 1 is safety updates.
Thank you, President Yip-Shuan. We have a number of safety updates just to connect with. One is traffic. Assistant Chief Torres, in regards to traffic and crossing guards, when we spoke last spring, we talked about making sure that we assist with getting the word out about having crossing guards. I have this on the agenda so we could share any updates. From our end, we did not have any issues with traffic, but I would like to hear from your end how things went.
Good afternoon, or I guess it's maybe good evening now.
Not
hopefully
yet,
you can
yeah.
hear me. I'm having some, I don't know if it's my end or what, but it looks like I had some technical difficulties there. Just to give you a quick update on crossing guards. So currently we're allotted for, let me see here. Sorry, I have to look at some notes that I took down, so it would be double screening. We have, we're allotted for 36 crossing guards, and right now we have 27 crossing guards on the book, so we're down 9. We're in the process of hiring one more, but that person won't be up and running until probably about October. So when we're down 9 bodies or crossing guards, that means that we have 5 locations that are only working with, they're working with below what we would normally put at a location. So 5 of our locations should have 2 crossing guards, and they only have 1 due to the staffing levels. And one of the locations that has that should have 3 only has 2. And then we have 3 locations that we don't have crossing guards at all, and that's North Park Victoria Drive and Kennedy Drive, West Calaveras Boulevard and Sarah Way, and then Arizona Avenue and that's not right. So sorry, I have some misinformation on that 3rd location. But basically, we have 3 locations where we don't have that. We staff locations that are missing crossing guards with either using our community service officers or police officers. And we've had to do that frequently over the since school went back into session. And again, sometimes that staffing is based on the availability of the personnel that we have on duty and all the calls for service that may be going around throughout the city. Recruitment, as far as crossing guards is concerned, we've made a push for the recruitment. Hopefully you've all seen Captain Miller make his social media debut with his recruitment video for crossing guards, and we put out the flyers whenever we're doing recruitment for our police officer and dispatcher vacancies as well. Matter of fact, this morning I put out the crossing guard recruitment video once more on our social media platforms. Traffic concerns, I mean, most of our traffic concerns again center around the drop-off times in the morning and then the pickup times in the afternoon. Unfortunately, some of the locations where these concerns are, I mean, there are not a lot of viable options for people due to the volume of vehicles and the volume of students that are being either dropped off or picked up. And we try to get out there to monitor it to make sure that we don't have any issues or it's creating an unsafe environment. Any concerns that we get are generally forwarded over to our traffic safety unit. And then again, based on availability, if they're able to go out there, then we'll send them out there. And if not, then we try and send one of our patrol officers that's working that particular area to address the traffic concerns. And I think that's all I have traffic and crossing guard related.
Thanks. And how about school resource officers? I know we have Officer Mock and Officer Sefi at Milpitas High School.
Yes, so we have, and again, trying not texting and following the meeting here, but I'm trying to read some notes that I have on a different screen. So I think total right now from the start of school until we're at today, we have about 196 hours that we spent on campus on Milpitas High. One of the things that I wanted to try and do this year, which is a little bit different than we did last year, is on the days where, that's correct, we do have 2 SROs that are primarily assigned to Milpitas High School, but we're going to look at trying to break them up a little bit during the week and while not focus strictly on, but make our presence known on the middle school campuses. So, again, a lot of it depends on the workload over at the high school, but the goal is to try and get one of the SROs to go visit the middle schools throughout the week so that they can make those connections with the staff that's there, try to address any problems, trying to take care of problems that may arise before they become a bigger issue. And also, to be honest, one of the goals too is so that as these middle schoolers are getting ready to prepare for high school, where they will see the SROs on a regular basis, there is just kind of taking away that shock, if you will, of seeing a police officer on campus. Because at the grade school level and the middle school level, there isn't a presence there all the time, although we try to get out there for, our community engagement events, like Recess with the Cop and Reading with the Cop. This will enable them we can start building relationships with the students at a younger age as we get into the high school age. And hopefully that carries over and that just strengthens those relationships that we build. And I think that once we start getting that up and running and doing those visits, I think we're going to see a lot of success from that and carry it over, because we did see that in the past with like the DARE program, where we had DARE students who would then encounter the SROs and remember them from those days back at elementary school. So that's where we're at with the SROs. And again, those two officers, they're really dedicated to that, and they enjoy it. We adjusted a little bit their hours as well for this starting in August. Now traditionally they were working 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've switched them to 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. because we found that some of the issues that may happen off campus are happening right after school ends out around the 3 o'clock hour, between that 3 and 4 hours. So we want to make sure that we had them available so that there was that option for students and staff to contact them a little bit later in the day and maybe alleviate some of those problems if any arose.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And last year, I had a lot of positive comments from principals and some parents, and including our PTA council was very curious about having the police on campus for recess, lunch, playing wall ball, talking with the older students at the secondary levels and having pizza. They really appreciated that and wanted to know how they could have police officers on their campuses with the kids more often. So,
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, and we appreciate that feedback too, because again, a lot of those things were just kind of pilot projects at the time, and that was a lot of thinking out of the box just to see how can we increase engagement with a segment of the community that oftentimes we don't have regular access to. Adults all the time we see, whether it be in the course of an emergency response or just out on the street, but with the children, those ideas made sense and we went with them, and it seems to be that they're very successful. We're going to start planning more of the Recess with the Cop events coming up. I think in the next month or so, we'll start having a schedule of where we're going to be. And the lunchtime pizza thing at the high school, I think we're looking at trying to start that up maybe back again in October, do a couple of those throughout the school year as well.
yep. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And I think that was one of the valuable pieces about DARE was building the relationship. So I appreciate that you and Chief Jared are working to find ways to have the essence of why DARE was successful present again on the school campuses.
Yeah, I think that we have a lot of officers that are really that bought into the Recess with the Cop and enjoy that also. So, we have a list of people that are ready to go for that once we start it up. And again, trying to get some more people, different faces, maybe out at the high school on occasion, just so that the students can just learn about us and we can learn about them. We just wrapped up too. I know it's not school related, but it did entail several students from the area. We wrapped up a 3-day teen academy that we held over the summer, which was, we had about 10 or 11 participants in that. And that was pretty fruitful. And I think that was eye-opening for both the staff and the students that were involved in that. And we made some good relationships out of that. And hopefully they'll carry over in the future as well.
Yeah, and that brings us to item D, which we started probably around January, working with yourself and with the chief and with our SRO, as well as our high school administrators and our new directors and executive director of learning and development, talking about the increase in student behavior that is not wanted, and how having students in distance learning the year prior, a lot of students who would have otherwise had the transition as 8th graders and then as 9th graders missed out on that important opportunity for school development. And we think that's in part what contributed to some of the increase in behaviors that are harmful to others. And so we started to talk with the police and went in the direction of resurrecting something that we used to do years ago, where we had regular meetings with police officers and with administrators of the secondary schools, and then sometimes having members of the county services like drug awareness at those meetings. And I have Mr. Henry Robinson online as well, so that we could hear an update on how the police school secondary collaborative got off last spring, and then when our meetings are coming up for this fall.
Okay. I'd like to say good afternoon to everyone. We have meetings scheduled for the 3rd week of each month on Tuesdays, and that would start at 7 a.m. in the morning, and that would allow people to be able to come to the meetings. So we'll meet for about 45 minutes to an hour. So those meetings are the 3rd Tuesday of each month at the Mount Peters Police Department. and I will be chairing those meetings, and that will go from September through May. So that is already set, and the different sites are aware of that. And we will start meeting in September on the third Tuesday of each month. And that date was decided upon based on schedules of the districts and other school type meetings. So we are set and ready to go. And we will be inviting other community agencies to join in on that, starting with probation and then moving forward on an outreach program.
Thank you. I'm not sure if Sergeant Breckenhauer is online.
Yeah. Hello, is he online?
I don't see him.
No, I
No.
don't believe he was able to attend.
No.
So you guys are
No.
you're stuck with me for the time.
No, but he is completely aware of the meetings, and then we communicate daily about issues that and topics that we might, discuss. And he has already touched bases with the principals and vice principals at Cal Hills, Milpitas High, Russell, and Rancho. And we might even consider inviting Clarissa Scott over if she has the time to do that, depending upon her schedule at the middle college. So everyone is on board.
And
So
so-
can I ask a
Go ahead.
question? Who is Clarissa Scott? You don't mind me asking?
Cheryl, would you like to answer that in terms of the
Sure.
formal?
Teresa
Yeah.
Scott is the principal of our MUSD Middle College High School. And she also oversees the dual enrollment and works with San Jose City College faculty, does also our MUSD Educate Everywhere virtual program for secondary students. And you can see her over at the San Jose Community College Extension at Ben Gross Educational Park.
Thank you for that update. Yeah, I've been hearing some parents complaining about kids fighting. I think there's an increase in fighting. I don't know if that's what is that what the issue is?
No, at the meetings, we will be dealing with a variety of topics, but if something comes up, we will be able to discuss and come up with remedies and then deal with more of a preventative strategy. It would not only be, say, if there's a fight, but we will have, discuss drug education, student behavior, dress code topics might come up, et cetera. So it will be a whole gamut of things that we will be dealing with.
Okay.
But the purpose will be that we have everyone in the room at the same time. So questions will be able to be answered, and we will be able to work together in a collaborative fashion.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Robinson or Assistant Chief Torres or myself?
I do have one question, Cheryl. In regards to the crossing guards, I think you mentioned that you were going to ask some of your staff, I guess the classified, that I guess there was going to be some type of you were going to see if they would overlap. Not sure. That at our last meeting you mentioned that. Do you know what the status is on that?
Yes, we did put out information to all of our classified employees, letting them know that, well, essentially we shared with them the same job announcement that the police department gave to us. And so it's up to the individuals to respond to that job announcement.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I personally think that one group of people we might target it might be the lunch supervisors who normally come in for, say, an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, that they might be free, say, in the morning and the afternoon, since their job at the district normally is just during their lunchtime period.
Great.
Yeah.
And that was of our discussion last spring. And Scott did also send that job announcement directly to that list of people who we did.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would probably say
Scott.
that we also recognize that a number of the lunch noon supervisors do that because they have kids in school. So in the morning, when the crossing guard time is usually happening, they're taking their kid to school. That's why they have that flexibility. But yeah, I do recall that we reached out to them as well.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate both of you and all of the others that are being diligent and making sure that we keep communication strong between the school and the police department as we work together to address issues that arise amongst our students who are also our residents, and what we can do as well to help create a safe and secure learning environment. If there aren't any other questions for Mr. Robinson, I'll let you know, Mr. Robinson, that you can either stay on with us or head out to what you were doing prior.
Go enjoy your weekend, Mr. Robinson.
All right, thank you. So President Yipshuan, that concludes all of the items under discussion item number 1, safety updates.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Robinson and Chief Torres. So we can move on to now item number 2, the bond work update, MUSD Innovation Campus.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Let's see if I can share my screen here. I've been having a technical glitch since we got on, so we'll see how I do. Got 2 things. Maybe I can start with this. Just a couple of slides. Can you see that all right? Mabel Meadows. So I think most, if not all of us, were at the Mabel Meadows ribbon cutting, which was absolutely spectacular. So we'll just touch on it for just a second. The inside of the multi-purpose, it's not a gymnasium of sorts or volleyball or basketball, but the principal, Jackie Wilfelbinger, had just this great idea with all the color combinations on the court there to do various different activities with the kids. Indoor stage, go through that wall, you got an outdoor stage, outdoor movies and that sort of thing. So there were a lot of really, really good ideas that went into this multi-purpose building we got there. Really some just really high quality woodwork going up the stairs there. I like to highlight that. We did build 3 new classroom buildings, which included 24 additional classrooms. There are now 32 classrooms, housing some 800, well, eventually capacity is 800 students at Mabel Meadows now. And then each classroom, each 4 classroom block also has a learning nexus in the center of it. Been in there, it's just tremendous how that's laid out. A good outside picture of the multi-purpose building. It was great to see everybody at the groundbreaking for the Innovation Campus. I have some real cool video of this right here where they're ripping down the old boardroom building. If you were there today, you would see essentially construction pads are done and certified. Underground utilities are going in preparation for concrete slabs. Over the fall, steel will arrive, and it'll seem like overnight these 4 buildings are high in the sky. So everything is going according to plan, on schedule. We've mitigated a lot of issues with procurement delays and supply chain issues and those sorts of things. We've been way out ahead on a lot of those things. One thing I want to show you, can you see that, or do I need to change?
I need to change it.
Okay, let me go back here. Oops. I'll figure this out in a second. Okay, try again. See that all right, aerial of Mabel Meadows? So this, I've been going out periodically and just flying the drone over this. pretty spectacular, I think, in the point of this meeting too, is just the collaboration between the city of Milpitas and this Unified School District. This is all coming together very nicely to see the classrooms essentially done. We need to do a little painting in the middle. The two blue courts have been completely restriped, repainted, basketball goals back up. We just started from scratch on those because that's where, if you may recall, we had the 8 portable classrooms there for a year. So those are gone. Just above that, in that big gravel area, we see a lot of people parking. That's where the future soccer field is going to be. The city has, I believe, awarded a contract for that work. And one of the few times in the last 3 years, the work for the soccer field came in lower than the projected estimated budget. This video, or this still shot of a video, is, you know, it's a few weeks old. If you're at that park now, it is something to see. It is absolutely spectacular. I think the city went all in on this. I've heard people all across the South Bay talking about getting over and playing in this park. So that's kind of the rumor. So that is that, and I'll keep making these videos for that. The other thing that we're working on, there's some other miscellaneous stuff. We did some roofing and paving and all that sort of thing. But the district-wide security fencing is ongoing. We have 6 sites that are out to bid currently. That's Rancho and Russell, Senate. Rancho and Russell, real important because we have those new real tracks we want to protect. And then we have Weller, Kirtner, and Rose is also out to bid. And we're just starting the design phase of those projects that don't already have fencing. Like Randall essentially has fencing. We need to do a little run of decorative fencing down Park Victoria. Spangler's fencing was done as a part of the broader modernization. And then Matos is, of course, fence. So the hope is that within the next 8 to 12 months, all the fencing projects will be complete. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, I just want to circle back quickly, Travis, on recognizing the groundbreaking, all the different projects. So thank you for keeping us up to date. Just a quick reminder that the AIR alumni are very interested in coming over on the Friday before. They're all alumni to see what's going on over there at their alma mater. They're very passionate about it, and they're also very excited about the future. So the sooner I can get them information,
Yes.
the better we'll be able to plan out that day on their behalf. So thank you.
Yep, yes, sir. And I have that note here to follow up with you from your message to me. We do have it on our weekly meeting as a date. I believe it's the 16th of September, but I need to go back and check the meeting minutes. And then I'll get together. Actually, I'll kind of let the alumni, I'm guessing they want to tour the old premises and then just take a peek at the new construction that's going on, which isn't super exciting now. It's a flat piece of land.
Travis, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, yeah, I'll move closer. Is that better? Hello? No? Can you hear me, Renee?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
can hear you.
So my assumption is that the alumni want to tour the old facilities and kind of reminisce a little bit, and then come out and maybe from afar look at the 2 building pads that we have now. That's my guess, and that's my conversation with Block Construction. So they're prepared for that.
Great. And that's September 16th in the afternoon.
I believe so. I'll take a minute, maybe view my emails and see if I can find that.
We're talking about 3:30.
Yeah, I think we're 3:30. I think we're at 3:30
Yeah,
time
'cause
frame.
Yep, because I know some of the classes have dinner and dancing that night.
Okay.
And also we can share, if we could do a markup showing them what the Air High School Glade is going to look like, where the lockers will be and where we'll have a memorial plaque. All right, memorial is probably the wrong word. And also where we will have the pavers where they might, if they so desire, to donate to both MUSD Innovation Campus as well as a Air High School Alum Scholarship Foundation.
Okay, I just made that note. I'll follow up on those things.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
I think the reunion is on the Saturday on the 17th, to be clear, just to check, because I'm pretty sure that's the date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double
that's correct.
check.
And then also Travis, I don't know if you had a picture for it, but we talked last year about the crosswalk at Randall. And so if you could just give an update on what we have in place right now, and then the striping that we have to do.
Sure. So what happened during the construction of the modernization of Randall, where we added the multipurpose and a new office and a new bus loop, the California Department of Education would not allow us at the time to keep the crosswalk where it was at Perry and Edsel. And we lobbied time and again for this to happen, because the only alternative that worked for the city and CDE was to put it way east of the campus, very far northeast of the campus. And so our lobbying effort failed at that point, so we installed it where they told us we had to install it, because the main thing is they don't want kids walking across the drive aisle. That's CDE's big concern. You come across Perry, you got to cross the drive aisle to get on campus. So we went through a year of drop-offs where essentially kids jump out of cars and run across Edsel. They don't go up to that crosswalk. Then they run through the flower bed and cross the bus loop. So we saw that as not a safe situation. So reached back out to CDE, included Cheryl Jordan in that conversation, explained what happened over the course of the year. And CDE conceded and said, yes, you can put a crosswalk back at Perry and Edsel. So HMC Architects was our architect for the job. They drew up plans to essentially relocate the brand new sidewalk back down to Perry. Well, the issue we're with now is that the new sidewalk has these flashing beacons that were installed. And to move those to the new location would require the removal of a very nice split face block wall of one of the neighbors that's at that intersection. There's also a gas line running there. And so we asked the architect, is there any prohibition to just keeping the new crosswalk in place and just coming back and putting in ADA ramps and stripe a crosswalk, just like it was pre-construction? And the architect reached out to their civil engineer, who said there's really no prohibition to doing that. And so, because I had reached out to the city, to Steve Chan, Steve Erickson, and Roberto Alonso, and said, hey, what do you think of this idea? And the response was, well, check with your designer. Check with the designer. Then I forwarded that opinion back to the engineering department. And Steve Chan said, no, he really didn't agree with that. He thinks the Federal Traffic Safety Bureau would like to see those as a safety measure there. And I said, well, my response was, well, I think the district stance is, the crosswalk's been there for 50 years and the houses have been there for 50 years, no different than what we had prior to construction. But I said, I would just leave it between the superintendent and the city to figure out what's best. If we're going to relocate the beacons, it may entail this neighbor who's been very vocal about not wanting his wall removed. So we'll have some dealings with him, and then we'll be relocating a gas line and maybe a couple other issues with it. So we put in ramps and stripe it.
This morning, Travis.
Yes.
Yeah. This morning I spoke with the city manager, and he will be working on the issue about the flashing light for us.
Oh, okay.
I just
So, yeah.
wanted you to share about the fence that went up, and that we're in progress to get the striping completed.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted the whole
Thank you.
history. All right. So we
No,
put a fence
thank
up
you.
in already in the flower bed, so that's mitigated about half of the problem. And I'll let you guys deal with the other part.
All right, thank you.
Mhm. Any further
Thank you.
questions?
No, thank you very much for that
Okay.
update. And
All
thank
right,
you,
thanks.
Cheryl. That sounds like good news.
Have a great weekend.
Mhm. All right, thank you, Travis.
Okay, are
And that
we-
brings us to potential resolutions, workforce housing, and safe schools, safe city. Are you ready for that, President?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's your Wi-Fi or, because it kind of goes in and out.
I think it's my Wi-Fi.
Okay. Okay, yeah, we're ready when you are. Go ahead.
On Tuesday at the board meeting, the board passed the resolution of workforce housing. We have it here on the agenda as an opportunity for the city council also to provide support, recognition of the need for workforce housing, particularly as I'm not sure what the data and statistics are on the employees and our
I think we lost superintendent. Vice President Norwood, can you continue with the resolution that we passed last Tuesday?
A little bit. I believe the superintendent was going to talk about ways that the city and the school district could continue to work together. We know that the city has worked hard on our behalf when it comes to developers and doing new projects in our area. Just a couple days ago, we're reaching out to our parents looking for rental rooms for teachers because we share that we've lost 7 teachers within the past year because of the high cost of living in this area. And that in order for us to be able to mitigate some of the problems that other school districts and cities are having, we need to make sure that folks that we can hire have almost a place to stay. Otherwise, it's going to be temporary. And however the city could work with us in that area, that would be helpful. And then if there are any opportunities at the state or federal level that we could pursue funding for workforce housing development and those types of things, those would be greatly appreciated in terms of us to be able to discuss and explore together, because we think that both parties will benefit tremendously if our educators, not just our teachers, but our classified employees as well, have the opportunity to work regionally in the city or within a 15 to 20 mile radius.
Yep, that's why we have that here. Thank you, Vice President Norwood. And this is another topic that I discussed this morning with the city manager. And we're talking about, again, how developers might be able to help us in solving this problem. And we have it here because the city council too could help in collaborating with us to solve this problem. And I know data-wise, this past school year, at the end of the year, we lost 7 of our educators who moved out of the area because it was too expensive for them. They couldn't continue to work for MUSD. And then we have 3 others who moved out of state because their partners were able to get better paying jobs. And with the teacher shortage, as well as paraprofessional and other direct classroom assistant shortages, it's a problem that we are going to see grow if we are not creative and thoughtful about how we might mitigate it.
Yep.
Are you experiencing anything similar on the city side?
Superintendent. I think that, I think everything you just said, I wish it weren't true. I wish it weren't true that there was a teacher shortage, and there's so many dynamics as to why there is a teacher shortage, which I know our community has discussed at length, but I think this resolution is actually a very huge step that I don't think I've seen in my handful of years here in public service. So I'm very encouraged. We do have developers that are very open to including workforce housing, specifically with teachers, if I may say, very specifically with teachers. And I think to even a larger extent, we can loop in our state assembly member. I know a lot of times there's affordable housing funding throughout our state and even the county, if I may say, but much more dollars in the state level where these government funds are going towards affordable housing projects. You know, I think we need to do more, even as a native Californian myself. You know, I really think our assembly member or future senator can take initiative to ensure that perhaps it's in addition to 100% affordable housing, we can do some 100% teacher housing. I think there's a distinction there. So I want to thank the school district for their leadership with this resolution. And, you know, I know there's a project in the pipeline right now that is in Milpitas that could really appreciate this resolution. And I've heard about other places. You know, without going into too many details, I recently crossed paths with the owner of the Ocean Market shopping center.
Oh, Lana.
Yeah, and you know, they're adjacent to the new innovation campus. And so I think they mentioned for 1 second, and you know, they were looking to perhaps potentially redevelop their 7 acres. And I just kind of shared with them that would be a great opportunity for workforce housing right there. And so those are meetings that can be calendared and discussions that can take place, especially now with this workforce housing resolution. So those are just some comments from the city perspective, albeit only 1 or 2 angles. Thank you.
So I have a comment, Chair. So yeah, I do agree. There is I like this resolution. There in the past, there have been some school districts that were proposing building housing on school property. However, that didn't go well with the voters. But I have heard that some school districts are buying low-income property or you know, like condos, and then just renting them out to the teachers. That might be another solution, a short-term solution, because I know that right now we have a developer that is going to be building workforce housing. However, that's going to take a while, but I know you need a short-term solutions, and maybe that's one. So just trying to think out of the box, you know what, of some affordable, something that's we need right away.
Yep.
Okay, let's move forward. Definitely move forward on the agenda if we may.
Yeah, are there any other questions or comments for superintendent? If
It's great
not,
work, all of you at the school
Yeah.
district. Wonderful, wonderful.
yeah, great job, and thank you so much for sharing with about Lana. And so we're moving on to 3B, Safe School, Safe City.
Also tonight, the board passed a resolution for school safety, and in conjunction with that, because we are fortunate in Milpitas, and that our city school district share the same boundaries, and we all love Milpitas because we have such rich diversity and so many long memories.
So so much diversity and so many long memories that the safety of our schools goes in alignment with the safety of our city. And when we think about what has happened, you know, few and far between Uvalde and other places, we have to be conscious of how we can be preventative in those areas. And this resolution talks about how we can protect all of our schools. We have 19 schools that we count, the 2 CDCs, the 10 elementaries, the 2 middle schools. So we have and they're all over the city in different places. And people that have ill in their heart are going to look for one of those places because they gather large audiences. So determining how we partner with the community leaders, with the city of Milpitas to make sure that our district schools are safe, which also means our communities are going to be relatively safe where our schools are stored, is very, very important to the board. Are you back, Superintendent? So some of the ideas or some of the things that we wanted to potentially bring to this is that we know we have the Milpitas Youth, we have the Milpitas Youth Force, we have the Youth Commission, there's the safety committee, not safety commission or committee for the city, but there's conversations around safety. We want to see how schools through this resolution could also be included in those conversations so that, again, we can just make our community as safe as possible.
This is an opportunity if the city would like to do a joint city school, safe schools resolution. We could, staff could draft something together and present it for our next collaborative to see if it's something that the council members and our board members would like to bring forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. No questions asked. This is great work, great leadership, and we're happy to get aboard here.
One thing I do want to mention is that I do like the fencing around the schools. I know the older schools don't have that, but the new schools do have it. And I think, unfortunately, we have to go that way to make sure that our students are safe. So I do like that with Randall and the other schools that were built.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the fencing is not like the old, like, fencing where it looks like you're incarcerated, or it's more aesthetic, and it looks nice. So yeah, we really like that too. So if there's no other questions or comments regarding the Safe School, Safe City, it looks like we'll do a joint resolution at the next meeting. Okay, we're moving on to item G, future agenda items. Are there future agenda items that we'd like to discuss or talk about in the next meeting?
At this moment in time, no, but I'll let Renee know and then she can get back to you if I do have something. Thank you.
Yeah, I have no future agenda items today.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on here. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get that on later. Okay, so if there's nothing else, no announcements, no reminders, we'll move on to item H, which is the adjournment. Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn the meeting. Need a second.
Second.
You have a
So we have a
second.
motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right, thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great weekend. All right.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.